10:47 at night, apartment 4B, a second-floor walk-up off Detroit Avenue in Cleveland, Ohio. The radiator is ticking the way old radiators tick when the building forgets it is winter. There is a half-eaten sandwich on a paper towel. There is a glass of water with no ice. There is a laptop open on a coffee table that used to belong to your mother before she remarried and downsized to a condo in Parma. The screen of the laptop is showing your bank app. The number on the screen is 0.00. Below that number, a smaller line says, minimum payment due in 3 days, $94.12. You are 35 years old. Your name is Jordan Bailey, and you do not know it yet, sitting there in the blue light. But tonight is the night the floor finally moves under you. I want to tell you how you got here, not in the way the financial channels tell it, with a chart and a smug voice and a graph that bends upward like a ski slope. I want to tell you in the only way that is true. I want to walk you backward, slowly, through the 7 rooms you pass through to arrive at this couch, in this apartment, in front of this screen that reads 0. My name is Wes Calder. I have spent the last 2 years sitting across from people exactly like you, in diners, in living rooms, in the parking lots of grocery stores at 11 at night, listening to them describe the small decisions that became large shadows. Jordan called me on a Wednesday. I drove to Cleveland on a Thursday. We sat in a diner on Friday. And by Saturday morning, we both understood something neither of us had the language for at 22. That is what this is. That is what this whole series is. You are not behind because you were lazy. You are behind because no one drew you the map. So we begin with the room you walked into first. You are 22. It is October of 2011. The recession is technically over, but no one has told the recession that, and no one has told you. You are standing in the kitchen of a 1-bedroom apartment with a roommate named Marcus Delgado, who has the smaller bedroom because he agreed to take the smaller bedroom in exchange for paying $80 less in rent. You have just opened a paper envelope from your employer, a regional logistics company that hired you out of Cleveland State because you had a clean transcript and a firm handshake and the willingness to drive to a warehouse in Bedford Heights at 6 in the morning. The paper inside the envelope is your first real paycheck. The number on the paper is $1,847. You have never held a piece of paper that meant this much in your life. Your hands are not shaking, but something behind your hands is shaking. You smell cheap coffee from the pot Marcus brewed an hour ago. You hear the radiator. You hear the city outside, a bus pulling away from the stop on Lorraine Avenue. And you do something very specific. You smile at the paper. You actually smile. You do not know it then, still. You do not know that the most important number on that paper is not the 1,847. The most important number on that paper is the number you do not write down anywhere. The number you do not put into any envelope, into any account, into any future. The number is 0. The number that sits at this exact moment in October of 2011 in any savings account that bears your name. $0, 0 cents, 0 plan, 0 idea that the absence of a number is itself a number, a heavy one, a number that grows. You will hear me say this several times tonight because it is the spine of the whole story. 0 is not a number, 0 is a sentence. And right now, on October the 7th, 2011, in apartment 4B, you have just begun serving it. You should know what is around you, in this room, on this evening, because we will come back to this room. There is a futon covered in a gray blanket your Aunt Linda gave you when you moved out. There is a poster on the wall of an old Cleveland Cavaliers roster. There is a stack of mail on the kitchen counter, and inside that stack are 3 things that matter. First, a letter from the Federal Student Loan Servicer informing you, in language designed not to be read, that your 6-month grace period ends in March, at which point you will owe approximately $142 per month against a principal of $14,200 at 6.8% interest. Second, a bill from Cleveland Clinic for an emergency room visit you made in August when you sliced your hand on a piece of sheet metal and did not have insurance because the company's plan did not begin until day 91 of employment. The bill is $1,412, and the bill says, in red, 60 days past due. Third, an offer in a glossy white envelope addressed to you by name from a credit card company. The envelope contains a pre-approval, $3,000, 24.99% annual percentage rate. Activate by phone in 5 minutes. You are in this room at 22, holding the entire grammar of the next 13 years of your life. You just do not have anyone to read it out loud to you. You will pay the rent, you will buy groceries, you will drive a 1998 Toyota Corolla you bought from your cousin Adrian for $1,800 cash. You will eat ramen and chicken thighs and the leftover bread your roommate brings home from his second job at a bakery on West 25th. You will not, this month, open a savings account. Not because you decide against it, you simply do not think of it. The thought does not arise. The thought has nothing to attach itself to. There is no email, no nudge, no friend, no mentor, no parent, no teacher, no anyone who looks at you in this kitchen at this moment and says, "Jordan, before you do anything else, before you pay a single bill, before you eat a single meal, take $84 of this paycheck, that is 5%, and move it somewhere that is not your checking account. Somewhere you will not see it. Somewhere it can begin." No one says that, so you do not do it, and the room goes quiet, and the radiator ticks, and outside the bus pulls away again. This is level 1, the start, the room you walked into. You are not in trouble yet. You have a job, you have a paycheck, you have a roommate and a car and bread on the counter. By every visible measure, you are doing fine. The trouble does not look like trouble at 22. The trouble at 22 looks like the absence of a small habit no one mentioned. That is the cruelest design of the whole machine. The catastrophe begins in the shape of nothing happening. You will spend the next 13 years learning that nothing happening is, in fact, the most expensive thing that can happen to you. But you do not know that yet. You smile at the paper, you fold it, you put it on the counter under the salt shaker, and you go to sleep. We move now to the second room. It is 6 weeks later, November of 2011. You are sitting at the same kitchen table. The glossy white envelope from the credit card company is still on the counter, but now it is open, and the letter is unfolded. Marcus is across from you, eating cereal at 11 at night the way Marcus eats cereal at 11 at night, with a spoon too big for the bowl, and he is looking at the letter, and he says the sentence that every 22-year-old in America hears at some point, in some kitchen, from some roommate or some cousin or some friend at a bar. He says, "Everybody has one." He says, "You need to build credit." He says, "Just put gas on it and pay it off every month. That is what I do." Marcus is 23. Marcus does not, in fact, pay it off every month. Marcus carries a balance of $2,100 at this exact moment. But Marcus does not tell you that, because Marcus does not know it is a problem. Marcus thinks it is normal. And in the United States, in the year 2011, by every available statistic, Marcus is right. It is normal. The Federal Reserve's Survey of Consumer Finances will later show that the median credit card balance for households who carry a balance is somewhere around $2,300, and the share of households who carry one is roughly 45%. So Marcus is, statistically, exactly average. And exactly average is, in this country, exactly broke. You pick up the phone. You call the number on the letter. You read off the activation code. The voice on the other end congratulates you. There is a small chime in the background of the call center, a chime designed to sound like a slot machine, a chime designed to make the part of your brain that loves slot machines wake up and pay attention. The voice tells you the card will arrive in 7 to 10 business days. The voice tells you your credit limit is $3,000. The voice tells you, almost as an afterthought, that your APR is 24.99% variable. You do not write that number down. You do not write any number down. You hang up. You look at Marcus. Marcus nods, and you feel in your chest a small warm thing. The small warm thing is not joy. It is not relief. It is not pride. It is something more dangerous than any of those. It is the feeling of having become an adult without having to pay for it yet. $3,000 of someone else's money is sitting in a vault in Wilmington, Delaware, and it has your name on it, and you did nothing to earn it except to be born into the country that printed the offer. The card arrives the following Tuesday. It is a Discover card. It is silver. It has a small holographic strip on the back. You hold it in the kitchen the way you held the paycheck 6 weeks earlier, and you smile the same smile, and you do not notice that you are smiling the same smile. You drive to the gas station on West 117th, and you put $42 of regular unleaded into the Corolla. You drive to Mark's Grocery, and you put $86 of food into the cart. You drive home. You feel rich. You are not rich. You are exactly as rich as you were that morning, minus $128 of borrowed money at 24.99%. But the feeling does not know that. The feeling does not read the back of envelopes. The feeling thinks, I can do this. The feeling thinks, I am fine. The feeling thinks, when the bill comes, I will pay it in full, like Marcus said, like a normal adult. The bill comes. It comes on December the 14th. The total balance is $128.04. The minimum payment due is $25. There is a small box on the bill, a box required by federal law since the Card Act of 2009, and the small box says, if you make only the minimum payment each month, it will take you approximately 3 years to pay off this balance, and you will pay an additional $38 in interest. You read the box. You read it twice. You think, 3 years to pay off $128? That is insane. So you pay the full balance. You pay $128.04. You feel virtuous. You feel like Marcus. You feel like a man who has handled his business. The feeling is back, the warm one, and it is louder this time. You think, I have figured this out. I have cracked the code. The card is a tool. I am the master. The card is the servant. I am building credit. I am, the phrase rises up from somewhere, an adult. You are not an adult. You are a customer. There is a difference, and the difference is the entire reason this episode exists. I want you to sit with the second level for one more moment before we move into the third room, because the second level is where almost every person I have interviewed lost the war. Not at the third level, not at the fourth, not at the fifth. The war is lost in the second level, in the moment the warm feeling arrives and you do not name it. The warm feeling has a name. The name is leverage. Someone else's money, sitting inside your life, pretending to be yours. At 22, in a Cleveland kitchen, with a Discover card on the table and a roommate eating cereal at 11 at night, you mistook leverage for arrival. You thought you had reached something. You had not reached anything. You had rented something, and the rent was about to begin. We move now to the third room. It is March of 2013. You are 23. The kitchen is the same kitchen, but Marcus is gone. Marcus moved to Columbus for a job at a logistics company that pays him $8,000 a year more than yours pays you, and you have a new roommate named Tyrese Whitaker, who works nights at the Cleveland Clinic as a security officer and sleeps during the day with a black t-shirt over his eyes. The apartment smells, faintly, of the cologne Tyrese wears, which is cheap and which you do not mind. On the kitchen table is a stack of 3 credit card statements, not 1, 3. The Discover card is no longer alone. The Discover card has friends. There is a Capital One card you applied for in May because the Discover was getting close to the limit. There is a store card from Best Buy you applied for in November because they offered you 12 months no interest on a 55-inch television you watched the Cavaliers on for exactly 6 games before the screen cracked when you moved the couch. The combined balance across the 3 statements on the table is $4,790. The combined minimum payment is $141 per month. You can make the minimum payments. You make them every month. You have never been late. You are, by every metric the credit bureaus measure, a responsible borrower. Your FICO score, when you check it on a free site that exists for the purpose of selling you a fourth card, is 711. You feel, again, the warm feeling. You are doing it right. You are not doing it right. You are doing exactly what the system was designed to make you do. Let me explain, slowly, what is happening to you in March of 2013, because this is the room where most viewers of this video are sitting right now, in their own kitchens, with their own statements, with their own roommate gone to Columbus, with their own warm feeling. The math is the same in every kitchen. The math does not care about the cologne or the cereal. Here is the math. You owe $4,790 at a blended interest rate of approximately 23%. The annual interest cost on that balance, if you do nothing, is approximately $1,100. You make $141 in minimum payments per month, which is $1,692 per year. The amount of that payment that goes to principal is approximately $590 per year. At that pace, ignoring the small new charges you keep adding because you are human and gas costs money, the balance will be paid off in roughly 8 years. 8 years, from a balance you accumulated in 18 months. And during those 8 years, you will pay approximately $4,400 in interest. You will, in plain language, pay nearly twice for the gas, the groceries, the cracked television, and the dinner you bought your girlfriend, Ariana Cole, at a restaurant on East 4th Street in November of last year. The dinner she remembers fondly, and you do not, because you were thinking about your card balance during dessert. You do not run that math. No one runs that math. The math is not on the statement. The statement shows you the minimum payment, the due date, and a polite phrase about your account being in good standing. The math is hidden in the same place the seasonal allergies hide in February. Present, accumulating, undeniable in retrospect, invisible in the moment. So you pay $141. You pay it on time. You feel the warm feeling. And the savings account that does not exist in your name, the one we mentioned in the first room, is still at zero. It has been at zero for 1 year and 5 months. Zero is not a number. Zero is a sentence, and the sentence, tonight in March of 2013, has begun to lengthen. Now I need you to do something difficult. I need you to hold 2 images in your head at the same time. The first image is you, at the kitchen table, with 3 statements and a warm feeling. The second image is a man named Devin Rhodes. Devin is 23, exactly your age, and Devin also graduated from Cleveland State, 2 years behind you. And Devin also took a job in Bedford Heights at a different logistics company. And Devin also makes approximately the same money you make, give or take $300 a month. Devin and you played pickup basketball together at the Y on West 117th for 2 summers, and Devin's jumper is better than yours, and Devin's defense is worse than yours, and the two of you, on paper, are interchangeable. There is one difference between Devin and you. 1. In October of 2011, in the same week you opened the glossy white envelope from Discover, Devin's father, a retired bus mechanic from RTA named Marcus Rhodes, sat his son down at a kitchen table on Wade Park Avenue and said the sentence no one said to you. Marcus Rhodes said, "Before you do anything else with that paycheck, you take $200 and you put it into a Roth IRA at Fidelity, and you do not touch it, and you do that every month for the rest of your working life, and if you do nothing else right, you will still be okay." Devin did it. Devin set up the automatic transfer that night, $200 on the first of every month from Devin's checking account into a Roth IRA invested in a low-cost total stock market index fund. $200. 8% of Devin's first paycheck. The money disappeared from Devin's checking account before Devin could see it, before Devin could feel it, before Devin could spend it. Devin did not feel rich. Devin did not feel poor. Devin felt the same as he had felt the month before, because Devin's brain calibrated within 90 days to a budget that did not include those $200. The $200 were a phantom limb. They were not there. They were somewhere else. They were beginning. You did not know in March of 2013 that Devin was doing this. Devin did not advertise it. Devin was not the kind of person who lectured his friends about money. Devin played basketball, drank a beer afterward, complained about his supervisor, drove home in a 2003 Honda Civic, and went to bed. From the outside, Devin's life and your life were identical. From the outside. The difference between Devin's life and your life in March of 2013 was approximately $3,400 sitting in a Fidelity account invested in the United States stock market in a year that the S&P 500 returned 32%. $3,400, less than the credit limit on your Discover card. So small a number that, if you saw it on a statement, you would not register it. So small that, if Devin had told you about it over a beer, you would have laughed and said, "$3 grand? I spend that on rent in 2 months." The number is not impressive. The number, in March of 2013, is not the point. The number is a seed, and seeds do not look like trees. That is the entire trick. That is the trick the system relies on you not understanding. You look at a seed and you say, "That is not a tree," and you are right, it is not a tree yet, but it will be. And the only ingredient required is the one ingredient you cannot manufacture later: time. We move now to the fourth room. It is the most important room. It is the room I want you to remember tonight, after you close this video, after you turn off the lamp, after you lie in bed and stare at the ceiling and think about your own kitchens and your own statements and your own warm feelings. The fourth room is the revelation. The fourth room is the math made visible. It is July of 2022. You are 33 years old. You are no longer in the apartment off Detroit Avenue. You are in a one-bedroom rental in Lakewood on Madison Avenue above a coffee shop called Phoenix Coffee, which you can smell from your bedroom every morning and which you cannot afford to buy from more than once a week. You make $62,000 a year now, before taxes, working as an operations coordinator at the same logistics company, having received 3 modest promotions over 11 years. Your take-home pay is approximately $3,700 per month after federal tax, state tax, city tax, the Lakewood municipal income tax, Social Security, Medicare, and the $400 per month you pay for the company's high-deductible health plan. Your rent is $1,250. Your car payment on a 2019 Hyundai Elantra you bought used in 2020 when the Corolla finally died on the shoreway is $291 per month for 36 more months. Your minimum credit card payments across 5 cards now, Discover, Capital One, Chase, the Best Buy store card, and a Citi card you opened during the pandemic when your hours were cut, total $640 per month. Your student loan payment, on a balance that has actually grown since 2011 because you spent 4 years on income-driven repayment that did not cover the interest, is $178 per month. Your phone is $65. Your electricity averages $70. Your internet is $60. Your groceries run about $400. Your gas runs about $160. Your savings account, opened reluctantly in 2017 at the suggestion of a girlfriend named Sasha Ortiz who broke up with you 8 months later, holds, on this July evening in 2022, $412.17. Your retirement account, which you have never opened, holds $0. Your invested net worth is $0. Your debt, total, including the student loans and the cards, is $31,400. You are, by the official measures, lower middle class with a college degree, in a metropolitan area with a cost of living below the national average, doing nothing visibly wrong. You are also, by the math we are about to do, in a hole that compounds against you faster than your salary grows. Devin Rhodes, on this same July evening, is sitting at his own kitchen table in a small house he bought in 2019 on a quiet street in Old Brooklyn, with a wife named Aaliyah and a 2-year-old daughter named Imani. Devin makes $71,000 per year, having moved companies twice. Devin's mortgage is $1,140. Devin has carried his entire adult life the same $200 automatic transfer into the Roth IRA, plus, since 2016, a 6% contribution to his employer's 401k with a 3% match. Devin has never owned a credit card balance for longer than 30 days. Devin's invested net worth as of the close of business on Friday, July 1st, 2022 is $89,000. $89,000 across the Roth IRA and the 401k. After a brutal first half of the year in which the market dropped 20%, $89,000. That is the number sitting on the other side of the wall. You and Devin make almost the same money. You and Devin graduated from the same college. You and Devin came out of the same neighborhood. The gap between you and Devin on this July evening in 2022 is $120,000 when you net Devin's positive 89 against your negative 31. $120,000. That is the price of one decision, made or not made, in October of 2011, in two different kitchens, by two boys who could shoot a jumper at the Y and could not, at the time, tell the difference between a glossy envelope and a quiet automatic transfer. You learn this number on a Tuesday. Devin does not tell you the number. Devin would never tell you the number. You learn it because you and Devin are at a barbecue in Edgewater Park, hosted by a mutual friend named Kenny Whitfield and Devin's wife Aaliyah, who does not know the unwritten rules men have about not discussing money, mentions, while she is pulling a tray of corn off the grill, that they are thinking of refinancing the house and using some of their investment account as a buffer if rates go higher. She says the number out loud. She says, "We have about 90 in the Fidelity account, so we are not really worried." She says it the way you would say, "We have about $90 in cash for the weekend." It is, to her, the same kind of number. A number that sits there. A number that is. You feel something move inside your chest. It is not the warm feeling. The warm feeling, the one that arrived in November of 2011, has been gone for years, and you did not notice when it left, the way you do not notice when the cicadas stop in September. What you feel now is colder. What you feel now is the floor moving for the first time. You drive home from Edgewater that night. You sit at the kitchen table above Phoenix Coffee. You open the laptop. You open a spreadsheet. You type in your debts. You type in your savings. You type in your monthly take-home. You stare at the screen, and the number you finally write down, the number that has been hiding in every one of these rooms since October of 2011, is the number I want you, watching this video right now, to write down with me. The number is your time. 11 years. From 22 to 33. 11 years of compounding that Devin's $89,000 rode on, and yours did not, because yours was not there to ride. The S&P 500, with dividends reinvested, returned approximately 250% across that 11-year window. A single dollar invested in October of 2011, left alone, became approximately $3.50 by July of 2022. 3.5 times. Without you doing anything. Without you being smart. Without you timing anything. Without you having a financial advisor or a brother-in-law in finance or a subscription to a newsletter. The market, simply by existing, while you slept and worked and ate and drove and dated and broke up and worked again, would have multiplied any dollar you fed it by 3.5. And you fed it nothing. And nothing multiplied by 3.5 is still nothing. This is the moment. This is the fourth level. This is the revelation that I want carved into the inside of your skull tonight. You did not lose money. Money you can earn back. Money is replaceable. Money walks back through the door every 2 weeks if you have a job. What you lost is not money. What you lost is the years that money would have ridden on. and the years do not come back. The years are the only ingredient in the entire recipe of personal wealth that cannot be purchased, borrowed, married into, or hustled for. Time is the one thing the system cannot sell you back. The credit card company will sell you anything else. They will sell you points and miles and 0% introductory periods and balance transfers and personal loans to consolidate your other personal loans and debt management plans and credit counseling and debt settlement, and finally, at the end, when there is nothing else to sell you, they will sell your debt to a collection agency for 9 cents on the dollar, and the collection agency will call your mother. They will sell you all of it. They cannot sell you the 11 years. The 11 years belonged to you. They were the only thing in this entire transaction that ever actually belonged to you. And you handed them over, $200 at a time, to the gas station and the grocery store and the cracked television, in exchange for the warm feeling, which was never yours either, which was rented, which was leverage wearing the costume of a rival. I am going to say it one more time, because this is the line I want you to remember when the laptop closes and the radiator ticks and the bus pulls away on Lorraine Avenue or whatever street runs past your own apartment tonight. 0 is not a number. 0 is a sentence. The sentence is the years. The years are the price. And the price is paid forward. Every month you wait, in a currency you cannot replenish. We move now to the 5th room. It is 3:14 in the morning, the same Tuesday in July. You are still at the kitchen table above Phoenix Coffee. The spreadsheet is still open. You have not slept. You have not eaten since the corn at Edgewater. You have, in the last 4 hours, done something you have never done before in your adult life. You have read. You have read the Federal Reserve's report on the Economic Well-Being of U.S. households, the 2022 edition, the one that says on page 34 that 37% of American adults could not cover an unexpected $400 expense in cash. 37%. Not 37% of the poor, 37% of all adults. You are one of them. You have $412 in your savings account, which means a $450 car repair would put you back on the Capital One card, where you have, as of this moment, $311 of available credit before you hit your limit. You are, in the language of the report, financially fragile. You have read the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau's Making Ends Meet survey, the one that says the median American household carrying revolving credit card debt carries it for an average of 4 years before paying it off, and that the average household pays more than $1,000 per year in credit card interest alone. You have read the J.P. Morgan Chase Institute's analysis of cash buffer days, the one that says the median household holds fewer than 3 weeks of liquidity, which means that if your paycheck stopped on a Friday, you would be unable to cover routine expenses by the 3rd week. You have read all of this. None of it surprises you. All of it describes you. You feel, sitting at the table at 3:14 in the morning, the strange and specific loneliness of a person who has just discovered that the worst thing about him is also the most ordinary thing about him. You are not a failure. You are a statistic. The statistic has a shape, and the shape is yours. And the shape is also the shape of 1 in 3 people you passed on Madison Avenue today. This does not make you feel better. This makes you feel worse. Because the part of you that has carried all these years a small private theory that you were going to figure it out, that you were going to have one good year and pay everything off and start over, that part of you understands at 3:14 in the morning that the theory was a lullaby. The theory was the same warm feeling in older clothes. The theory was leverage on hope instead of leverage on a credit card, but it was still leverage, and the rent was still due. The years had been quietly billing you every month for the privilege of believing the theory, and the bill totaled is the gap between you and Devin Rhodes. $120,000. 11 years. A house Devin owns, and you do not. A daughter Devin takes to the splash pad on Saturdays, and you do not have. A wife Devin trusts to mention investment account balances at a barbecue without flinching. None of these things were taken from you by Devin. None of these things were given to Devin by anyone. The difference, the entire difference, is $200 a month, and the willingness, at 22, to call it a phantom limb. You close the laptop. You do not cry. The thing you feel is too dry for crying. You walk to the window. You look out at Madison Avenue. There is a single car at the light at Bunce. The driver is on his phone. The light turns green. The car does not move for a full 8 seconds. The driver does not notice. He is, you imagine, looking at a screen that says 0.00 and a smaller line that says minimum payment due in 3 days. You do not actually know this. You only know that statistically, he probably is. 1 in 3. The driver could be Devin. The driver could be you. The driver, at 3:14 in the morning, at the corner of Madison and Bunce, is a citizen of the same country that mailed you the glossy envelope in October of 2011. The country is very good at the envelopes. The country is very bad at the kitchen table conversations. This is the 5th room, the room of full honesty, the room where the lullaby ends and the math begins. There is no magic in this room. There is no trick, no app, no side hustle, no crypto, no course, no influencer, no system. There is only the math. The math says you cannot recover the 11 years. The years are gone. The math also says you have, if you are lucky, approximately 32 more years before traditional retirement age. 32 years is a long compounding window. 32 years is shorter than the window Devin has, but it is not 0. The math says every month you delay starting from this Tuesday forward costs you somewhere between $400 and $1,000 of future net worth, depending on the rate of return you assume. The math says the most expensive habit you have ever practiced, more expensive than any rent or any car or any television, is the habit of waiting for a better month to start. The math says there is no better month. There is only this month. There is only this Tuesday. There is only the kitchen table at 3:14 in the morning, and the laptop, close now, and the decision, which is yours, which has always been yours, which no one is going to make for you, which no glossy envelope is going to make easier, which the country is not going to teach you in any school you attended, which Devin Rhodes is not going to bring up at a barbecue, which Aaliyah is not going to mention while pulling corn off a grill, which is, simply, the decision to begin. The 6th room is short. The 6th room is the room where I come in. It is Wednesday morning, 8:19 a.m. You are at your desk in Bedford Heights. You have not slept. You pull out your phone. You search for someone, anyone, who talks about this without selling you a course. You find a video. The video is mine. The video is the one before this one, episode 2, the one called The 2 Paths at 22. You watch it on your lunch break, in the parking lot, in the Hyundai, with a sandwich on the passenger seat that you do not eat. At the end of the video, there is an email address. You write to the email address. You write 3 sentences. You write, "My name is Jordan Bailey. I am 33. I have nothing." You hit send. I read the email at 4:10 that afternoon, sitting in a hotel room in Indianapolis, where I had given a talk that morning to a room of 40 people about a topic I no longer remember. I read your email 3 times. I write back 2 sentences. I write, "I will be in Cleveland on Friday. Tell me a diner." You write back the name of a diner on Detroit Avenue, 6 blocks from the apartment you lived in at 22. The diner is called Jim's Open Kitchen. You do not tell me in the email that this is 6 blocks from the apartment. I learned that on Friday. We sit in a booth in the back of Jim's. There is a coffee on my side and a coffee on yours, and a placemat with a map of Lake Erie and the lighthouses of the lakeshore. You have brought a folder. The folder contains every statement, every loan document, every pay stub for the last 3 months, every bank record for the last year. You slide the folder across the table. You do not speak. I open the folder. I read for 11 minutes. I do not interrupt the silence. The waitress refills both cups twice. She does not interrupt the silence either. She has, I would guess, seen this booth used this way before. When I close the folder, I take a napkin from the dispenser. I take a pen out of my coat. I write on the napkin the following. I write 31,400. I underline it. I write minus 412. I write minus your tax refund of $1,900 this April, which we will redirect. I write net debt to clear, $29,000 and change. I write below it, snowball, smallest balance first, every spare dollar to it, minimums on everything else, no new charges, freezer the cards, do not close them. I write below that, month 1, the Best Buy store card dies. Month 4, the city dies. Month 11, the Capital One dies. I write below that, month 34, you owe nothing on cards. Month 34, just under 3 years, you will be 36. I write below that, finally, at the bottom of the napkin, the line that matters more than any of the others. I write, starting month 1, also, $50 per paycheck to a Roth IRA at Fidelity, automatic, before any other bill, before any minimum, before any groceries, before any gas. $50, $25 per paycheck, $200 over a typical month. Identical, almost to the dollar, to the number Devin's father said in October of 2011 on Wade Park Avenue. I slide the napkin across the table to you. You read it. You read it again. You do not say anything for a long time. The waitress refills the cups a third time. Outside, on Detroit Avenue, a city bus pulls away from a stop, and the sound is the same sound you heard in October of 2011, in the kitchen of apartment 4B, 6 blocks from where we are sitting now. The sound has not changed. The street has not changed. The radiator in some other apartment is ticking the way old radiators tick. Everything in the world that was here when you were 22 is still here. The only thing that has changed is that you, finally, at 33, on a Friday afternoon in Jim's open kitchen, are looking at the math, not running from it, not lulling yourself with a theory, looking, with both eyes open, at a napkin. You ask me, finally, one question. You ask me, is it too late? I take the napkin back. I write one more line on it. I write, it is too late for the 11 years. It is not too late for the next 32. I slide it back. You read the line. You fold the napkin. You put the napkin in the folder. You finish your coffee. You pay for both of us, against my objection, with cash. $11 and a $4 tip on the table for the waitress. We walk out into the parking lot. The sun is slanting low across Lake Erie. You shake my hand. You do not say thank you. You say, see you. You drive home. That is the 6th room. That is where the floor stops moving and you stand on it. The 7th room is the room you are sitting in right now. Not Jordan's room. Yours. Wherever you are. Whatever city, whatever apartment, whatever couch, whatever screen reads 0.00 in front of you. The 7th room is not in 2011 and not in 2022. The 7th room is tonight. The 7th room is the only room any of this was ever about. I am going to tell you, now, what I wish someone had told Jordan at 22 in the kitchen of apartment 4B on the 7th of October, 2011, when the paycheck was on the counter under the salt shaker and the glossy envelope was unopened and the savings account did not exist. I am going to tell you in the second person because this is for you, not for Jordan, for you. Jordan's 11 years are gone. Yours, some of them, are still here. You are going to open a savings account this weekend. Not Monday, not next month, this weekend. You are going to open it at a bank that is not the bank where your checking account lives, because the small inconvenience of a separate login is, oddly, the entire mechanism that makes the money stay there. You are going to set up an automatic transfer of $50 per paycheck. Not 500, not 200, 50. The number is small on purpose. The number is small because the goal of the first month is not to save money. The goal of the first month is to prove to yourself that you can move money to a place you cannot see and survive the month. You will survive. You have survived worse months for worse reasons. You will not feel the $50. By the third paycheck, you will not remember the $50 exists. By the sixth paycheck, the account will hold $300, which is more than a third of all American adults have on hand for an emergency, which means you will have, in 3 months, lifted yourself out of one specific statistic. You are going to open at the same time a Roth IRA at one of 3 places: Fidelity, Vanguard, or Charles Schwab. There are no other acceptable answers. You are going to put the entire account, every dollar of it, into a single fund. The fund is a low-cost total stock market index fund or a target date retirement fund matched to the year you turn 65. There are no other acceptable answers. You are going to set up an automatic monthly contribution. The amount is up to you. The amount can be $25. The amount can be $500. The amount is less important than the fact that the contribution is automatic, recurring, and invisible. You are not picking stocks. You are not timing the market. You are not reading the news. You are buying a slice of every public company in the United States every month, forever, regardless of what the news says, regardless of what your brother-in-law says, regardless of what the warm feeling says. You are doing what Devin Rhodes did at 22, except you are doing it tonight, at whatever age you are, because the second best time is always tonight. You are going to write down, on a piece of paper, every debt you owe, every card, every loan, every medical bill, the balance, the interest rate, the minimum payment. You are going to put them in order from smallest balance to largest balance. You are going to attack the smallest one first with every spare dollar, while paying minimums on the rest. You are going to feel, when the smallest one dies, a feeling that is not the warm feeling. The new feeling has no name in English, but the closest word is relief. The relief is real. The relief was earned. The relief is not rented. You are going to stop, tonight, the single most expensive habit of your adult life. You are going to stop waiting for a better month. There is no better month. There has never been a better month. The better month is a story the warm feeling tells you to keep you renting. Tonight is the month. This couch is the kitchen. This screen is the napkin. I want to say, before I let you go, one thing about Jordan. Jordan is, as the description below this video notes, a real pattern composite. Jordan is built from 23 interviews I have conducted over the last 2 years with people in Cleveland, in Akron, in Toledo, in Columbus, in Detroit, in Pittsburgh, in Indianapolis, in Buffalo. The names are changed. The streets are changed. The exact dollar amounts are blended, smoothed, set against the medians from the Federal Reserve and the CFPB. Jordan is not one person. Jordan is, I am sorry to say, almost everyone. The kitchen is almost every kitchen. The envelope is almost every envelope. The 11 years are almost everyone's 11 years. The reason I built Jordan as a composite, rather than telling you the story of one specific person, is that I do not want you to be able to walk away from this video saying, well, that was that person, and I am not that person. You are that person. The country built the system that builds Jordans. The system is still running. The envelopes are still in the mail. The warm feeling is still on the table. The radiator is still ticking. The bus on Lorraine Avenue, on Madison Avenue, on whatever avenue runs past your window, is still pulling away. The difference, the only difference, between the Jordan who is sitting on the couch in apartment 4B at 10:47 on a winter night in front of a screen that reads 0.00 and the Jordan who walks out of Jim's open kitchen on a Friday afternoon with a folded napkin in a manila folder is one decision, made on one night, in one room, by one person who is finally tired enough of the lullaby to look at the math with both eyes open. That decision is not in this video. That decision is not in the description. That decision is not on the napkin. That decision is in the room you are sitting in right now. The room I cannot see. The room only you can see. 0 is not a number. 0 is a sentence. The sentence ends the night you decide to end it. Not before, not after. The night you decide. The screen, tonight, in your apartment, in your kitchen, on your couch, can still read 0.00. That is allowed. That is, statistically, where most people watching this video are sitting tonight. But there is a difference between a 0 you have not faced and a 0 you have faced. The first 0 is a sentence. The second 0 is a starting line. Same number, different country. The country you live in the next 32 years is the one you choose to step into when you close this video and walk to the laptop and open the bank's website and click the button that says Open New Account. The country is one click away. The country has been one click away since October of 2011. The country is one click away tonight. In the next episode, episode 4, we are going to walk together through what happens after that click. We are going to talk about the first $100 that leaves your debt and the first $100 that enters your investments, and why those $200 are the most important money you will ever move in your life. More important than any raise, any inheritance, any windfall, any side hustle, any lottery ticket, anything. The first $100 out and the first $100 in. That is the next room. I will be there. I hope when I open the door, you are there too. My name is Wes Calder. The screen in the apartment where Jordan now lives no longer reads 0. The screen in the apartment where you live can change tonight. That is the entire story. That has always been the entire story. Good night from Cleveland.